But then we go over to maybe the highlight of the entire weekend. You know what? I'm going to say it is the best part of the entire weekend was the Steph Curry versus Sabrina three-point competition. Look, I love the idea. I love the execution of this. And it was ultimately, I think, the best thing that happened throughout the weekend. Like I just said, I think we can start by saying that, for one, it put more eyes and more positive light on the WNBA. But Steph Curry was called out by Sabrina after she had the best three-point competition ever. And of course, these two would meet up and have a legendary one-off three-point contest. Steph Curry would put up the number of the night in 26 points in her one round, which that number would have she would have had the same score as the Final Four men finalists, and she would have had the same score as the eventual champion in Damian Lillard in the men's competition from the NBA three-point line, I might add. Sure, she did use a WNBA ball, but 26 points is 26 points in the three-point contest, and she hit one or two of the story balls too, so Sabrina came to play is a good way to put it. But then Steph would go last, and maybe that's because, hey, the NBA was like, this is the greatest shooter of all time. We want him to go last. Maybe it was a respect thing between the two of these that Sabrina said, hey, I want to set the tone for the competition. Or maybe Sabrina just didn't want to go last because of the nerves. Whatever it was, Steph Curry came to play as well, and he also showed that there is also levels to greatness. He put up 29, making almost every ball in his last two racks, and Steph Curry said, hey, I had to turn up. And he did that in the last stretch of his competition. I will say I like this event more than everything else because now it can expand in the coming years. I think maybe next year we can bring Sabrina back. It is in the Bay Area where Steph is from, so you know Steph's going to be there. But maybe next year we bring Sabrina back. Maybe we bring in Caitlin Clark, who seems to be a generational shooter. I mean, an off night for Caitlin Clark there at Iowa is, putting up 40 for her ball club. I will say that if they went, if they wanted to go crazy, yeah, maybe, aside from bringing in those two great shooters, maybe you get the four best men shooters, the four best women shooters from each side of things, and have them go head to head in a three-point contest. Maybe that replaces the traditional men's three-point contest. Whatever they want to do, I think an event that had this much success in Steph or Sabrina, I think it just opens up so many doors for the future of both of the WNBA and the NBA, of course. But shout out to Sabrina, man. I think, we say, hey, it's a great competition, but we kind of overlook the fact that, sure, she's dominating in the WNBA. But to get on this stage to call out the best shooter that God has ever created in something that, in his own craft, basically the best attribute to Steph Curry, you're calling him out at that. And to get close to beating him, to be within 3 points of tying him, I think that, with the pressure and just being a woman in today's age, it's just shout out to her, right? There's a lot of pressure that goes on that. If she came out and had 11 points, it's not only going to put a bad light on her forever, it's going to put a bad light on the WNBA. So shout out to Sabrina for, again, having the gall to do this weekend, but also just really opening up so many doors for the future of this event. Who knows? Maybe next year, maybe we don't go as crazy as having a full-on competition between the two. Maybe we'll say, hey, is Klay Thompson's maybe taking a step back, right? Let's do Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the Splash Bros, versus Sabrina and Caitlin Clark, right? Or the next best shooter in the WNBA. That would be something that I would sign up for, right?